Good morning to you.
Ger and Maura, how you doing?
I had a really good day yesterday.
True self, Ger. You said it yesterday in the show. You're doing the tips this morning. I'm not doing the tips.
I've just got to check my WhatsApp, and unfortunately there's nothing there, so I've got nothing for you today.
Oh, okay. Right, I'll have to just try and pull it out of the fire after yesterday. What a bizarre day.
Yeah, so Robbie Power has just tweeted.
Yes.
Is this the, it's taken me a few hours to calm down from the very unfortunate incident yesterday at Punchestown race with Paul Townend. Nobody feels worse than him, just human error. Hashtag no hard feelings, hashtag brilliant jockey. We can show this again, right?
Yes.
So let's just remind everybody of exactly what happened.
Yeah, this is the final, second last fence. Monolith falls and invitation only is brought down. Album photo is left in the lead here, and that's Paul Townend riding him. Looks behind him, slows down, then veers off to his right, takes out Finian's Oscar, crashes through the rail before the final fence, leaving the storyteller for Gordon Elliott to win the race. Huge implications for the title race. There was a €140,000 swing if Album Photo had won and Finian's Oscar was second. So Gordon took 90,000 out of the first three in that race, and now the lead is 405,000 going into day two of Punchestown. But obviously, we don't know what actually was going through Paul Townend's head. We still don't know. Now, I'm sure we'll find out today.
It looked a bit like, it looked a bit like he thought the course, you know, I'm not in any way defending what happened, but it did look as if he thought like there was a problem with the fence and they were, it's the type of move you would make if you urgently had to get across the track to avoid the fence, which doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Usually there would be, say, guys with flags there or to his right.
At the National, they had to avoid a fence the second time around this year.
Yeah, and generally that's well flagged up well beforehand. So you got plenty of time to move.
Yeah. It's never the last.
Yeah, and if it was, say, so they go on two circuits in that race. So say if there was an injury in the first circuit, they'd dial off the fence, or they'd make sure that the jockeys have plenty of time to go around. But when I was looking back at the footage, he wasn't even looking ahead of him, and I didn't see anybody to his right that was making an indication that you need to get out of here. It's almost like somebody said something to him behind him. That's what we believe from us reporting the Irish Independent today, is that he might have heard a call and looking behind him, and then he was, I got to turn quickly. And then Finian's Oscar went to the right as well, and then they both went out. From what Robbie is saying, and from what Mick Fitzgerald is saying on Twitter as well, I think it was a bit of a brain freeze. I think he's a human being. He made a mistake. Obviously, we'd love to hear his side of the story. And then if he says that he had a brain freeze and made a mistake, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
He's a human being. I never remember Paul Townend having any incident in his career before. He's a very good jockey. He wouldn't be Willie Mullins' top jockey this week if he didn't have an impeccable reputation. So it's just one of those things. But I'm disappointed that from a public relations point of view that we didn't hear anything from the stewards. That I'm sure he obviously got that 21-day ban for dangerous riding, one of the harshest penalties you can give. But surely if that ban was administered, then the stewards would have got his explanation, maybe spoken to the trainer, Willie Mullins, who we believe had left the course by the time people got the chance to speak to him. And then the stewards maybe should have issued a statement and said, look, this is what happened. We've taken a series of events. We've administered the suspension, and then people will know. And then you don't have people on social media talking through their pockets and going crazy and making spurious allegations about Paul Townend.
Johnny Ward says, Robbie Power, class act. I'm told the Turf Club will likely furnish more details on the steward's interview this morning. I also understand the Turf Club officials' reluctance yesterday was out of consideration for the jockey.
Would it be normal? I know you mentioned there about, you know, flagged well in advance if things have to change or if you have to skip a jump or whatever, but it did look like you said, that he heard something behind him.
Yes.
Would that be kind of abnormal, unusual?
Generally, you see these jockey cams of races. I've seen it of the Grand National, and it's actually worth anybody watching it who's got an interest in sport or racing, because what you see on the television screen is nothing really like what the jockeys experience. Like if you look at Many Clouds winning the Grand National on that jockey cam, it's on YouTube. Often when they're in front, they're just going. They're not. They're kind of oblivious. Okay, they might see somebody in their shadow, but you often see these close finishes in races. Like in the Grand National, Tiger Roll won the Grand National. Davy Russell wouldn't have known until after he crossed the line who was beside him. Yeah. But who was beside him? Even who, like it was David Mullins of Pleasant Company. So I found it's a strange situation that a jockey would start looking behind him the way he did, slowing down, and then veering to the right. I mean, I've never seen anything like before. The last time I saw something as bizarre as this in a racetrack was 12 years ago when a jockey, Roger Loughlin on Central House, mistakenly mistook the winning post, started celebrating, and then realised that the winning post was 50, 100 yards down the line. Made an honest mistake, a genuine mistake. And I think we just had a bit of a brain freeze and a genuine mistake here. But if that's the case from Johnny Award is saying, then that's a good thing that they obviously, I'm sure Paul Townend is gutted. He's been punished. He's forfeited his riding fee. And hopefully Willie and Paul will have something to say about him. And hopefully today he'll bounce back and have some winners. Yeah.
So the ban doesn't kick in until the end of this meeting. Is that generally what happens?
Yeah, that's generally the case.
Yes, you're kind of given a few days to
but
come back out and get back on the horse.
The thing about it is, it's in public view. This is the only race I actually got to see yesterday. It was at a course, and I turned up and I was following Monolly, who I had money on, and this is like in prime time. It's 6:45 on national television.
Yeah,
like there's no hiding place. So you feel very sorry for the guy. You know, actually that's my general emotion about it. But today is another day, and let's hope it can be forgotten about quickly. I mean, he's got his punishment, hasn't he?
Yeah. So I do actually have a tip for today. It's yeah.
Well,
Dorking Boy at 16-1.
Oh, the English horse, English horse in the bumper. Tom Lacey sending him over 20-1.
Down to 16, yeah.
Right. You've moved the market already, Jerry.
It was 20 last night, but by the time I woke up this morning, it was 16, unfortunately.
Well, he's got a good record, Tom Lacey, in these races, and he actually sold, I think, Blackbow, the Willie Mullins horse, who's 4-1 in the race to Willie. So he is good with these young horses, so I definitely think he's got a good each-way chance. And also, Tom Siegel, price-wise, in the Racing Post, put him up, Jer. So
that's
whether he or you are an exalted company, we're not so sure of that.
Right, okay, so what have you got for us today? What do you think is going to happen? Is it Gordon Elliott's to lose now at this point, or is it still too early in the week?
I think it's Gordon Elliott's to lose. But I think they need to run Sam Crow still in that champion hurdle on Friday. I think they need to do that to possibly seal the deal.
So now's the time to get on Sam Crow. 7-4.
Yeah, it's not as simple as that. Mellon's a good horse. Nearly won a champion hurdle there. I'll be waiting. But I know what you're saying.
Wait until
first of all he's declared.
Yeah.
But Punchestown is strange. You know, you had Cheltenham, you had Aintree, you had Ferryhouse, you had 3 soft ground festivals. Like, I know you had your brilliant win yesterday, but if you were looking for favourites yesterday, or like doing what I was doing, you'd be just washed out. Like the shortest price winner yesterday was 9-2. You just wait and see, backed from 40s into 16s. You had Draconian 33s into, I think, 22-1, 25-1 that won. True Self, the horse you backed, was 22-1 in the morning. If you want to back horses today, folks, you need to be doing it now, because I think the odds are generally going to be reduced throughout the day. You need to be getting the early prices now. That's what I would say. So, some strange results. Punchestown can generate strange results. Don't be afraid of Willie Mullins' second, third string. He had Decronian yesterday, and he had that horse True Self. They weren't ridden by the top jockey, who was Paul Townend yesterday. So the only horse I'm having a bet on today is in the same race as yours, Ger, in that bumper at 6:05, the champion bumper. Felix de G. Desjy. Felix de G for Gordon Elliott.
We were on this at Cheltenham.
And the horse at Cheltenham was way too free, too exuberant, pulled too hard, lost his chance in terms of his behaviour. But he was still right there, and they rarely had runners at Cheltenham. Duggan House stud, Michael O'Leary. 10-1, I think he's definitely a chance of finishing in the frame at 10-1 for Barry O'Neill, who rode the winner yesterday for Gordon at the other bumper, Commander of Fleet. So Felix de G is my bet of the day each way. I'm not having any other bets. In terms of the Gold Cup, there's lots of question marks. Vic.
But can I ask you about what happened to Duggan yesterday?
Well, Willie said that Paul wasn't too happy with him when he got off the horse. So I think looking back on it now, sometimes horses, when they have injuries, are never the same.
Yeah.
And I think you're hoping
possibility about that, isn't there?
There's a possibility that horses sometimes are never the same when they've had that injury, and I think that's what we were hoping wouldn't happen, but I think that's what happened.
It was a competent performance. It wasn't one of those it was never really in contention.
Yeah, but he wasn't on fire. It was just fine. It was. Like Undersow had an ordinary performance himself at Cheltenham, won a Ferryhouse. Duggan at his best to be beating Undersow in that race, and that's why Paul Townend picked him. But he was just a little bit flat, and I think that suggests to me that horses after injuries,
Yeah.
So the Gold Cup at 5:30 is the big one, but just lots of question marks. Bell's Hill, if the Grand National has not left its mark, is a fresh enough horse this season. He's a 9-2 shot. Bell's Hill will like the going right-handed. Kilota Vic will need to jump better. Road to Respect does set the standard. He's won over course and distance. Once again, did he have a hard race in the Cheltenham Gold Cup? So Total Recall didn't run any kind of race in the Aintree Grand National. It's not a race I want to be having a bet in. The race before that, Next Destination in the 3 mile novice hurdle, is a solid favourite of 15-8 in that Black Op, the horse he was second to behind Sam Crow at Cheltenham, won at Aintree last time out. So the form has worked out. Kilbrick and Storm is a Cheltenham winner. There is a horse there, number 10, Disco Rama. Could have a chance of finishing in the frame for Paul Nolan. I followed this horse, was second behind Blow by Blow at Cheltenham from a mile back, powering up the hill. Another 4 furlongs today. I'm not having a bet on it, but Disco Rama could be worth €1 each way, 25-1. But Felix de G is the one I like. But first race is a handicap, is very, very trappy. I
spotted that one there just because of the name. I won who picks horses on the names. There's one called Ocala.
28-1, Maura. For Peter Fahey. What do they say? Had been running over fences for almost 2 years until chasing home a runaway winner over hurdles at Thurles last month. Remote 6th and 2 mile 6 furlong Ferry House handicap last time. They're just stating the facts. They're not even giving an opinion on it, Maura. But sometimes your theory is probably better than mine.
Why are runaway winners at Thurles so far down the betting and like 2 weeks later and over a fairly similar distance? Is that not like actually a really good bet?
Chasing home a runaway winner.
Oh, chasing home a runaway.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay, sorry.
Chasing, yeah.
Okay, grand, yeah.
A good
That's
6.
different.
The 640, Blast of Cumin could run well for Robert Tyner. Has been running consistently in handicaps. Blast of Cumin, number 16 in the 640. Once again, not a race I'm that keen on having a bet in because these handicaps are very difficult. Shanahan's Turn was second in the Topham Chase at Aintree. Woodland Opera has got good course winning form for Jessica Harrington. But it's really a day to just be careful, folks. The one I like is Felix de G. I'm backing him the moment this show finishes.
What type of a day is today? So what are most of the races today? I mean, is it a mix?
It's a mix. We have 3 grade 1s. We got that novice hurdle, the 3 mile novice hurdle, which Next Destination, Willie Mullins and Paul Tennant have our favourites for. Blah Blah Blow is a Cheltenham winner. It's not a bad race. We got the Gold Cup, which is probably the feature race of the week. Lots of horses which have had past stories in there. Ed Wolford, Joseph O'Brien, Jack Adam, a veteran now. Sub-lieutenant for Henry de Bromhead, probably an outsider. But Road to Respect won at Christmas at Leopardstown and does set the standard for Noel Meade, who actually is in really good form. Noel Meade is a trainer you want to be following. I was looking at Joey Sassy yesterday, didn't back him, and in that race you won, Jared, he was second. Noel Meade's horses are doing well at the moment. I'll be keeping an eye on Noel Meade's horses and bumpers and that. And the other grade one is the one that you have, Dorking Boy, in, and I've got Felix de G in.
Okay, so hopefully that's plenty for people to get their teeth into today. If the champion hurdle at the end of the week does come down to those two, at what point is a good time to get involved? You think Mellon's going to win anyway?
No, I'm not sure he's going to win, but I don't know if I'll be steaming in at whatever is it, 5-2 or 9-4,
7-4 at the moment.
7-4 into Sam Crow. Sam Crow is an exceptional horse, but is he certain to run? I don't know. I'm just generally, I'm not one of these players. I don't think that way. I kind of always think on the day.
Why do you think it's unlikely to run at this stage? Like,
I'm not saying he's unlikely to run,
or what would be the
determining factor is how much of a lead Gordon has and how today goes and how tomorrow goes. I think they'd rather not run him, to be honest. I think they'd rather keep him as a novice. But I think if they feel that this is going to be pretty close, then they'd run him.
Yeah.
But generally it's not a policy for the O'Learys to run novices in champion events. That's why I'd be a little bit reluctant to get involved until I see him on the day.
Is the theory behind that because then next year you get him, you get preferential treatment, or you kind of...
No, it's just more for the horses, that the horse is not in difficult races before he is like fully formed and fully mature at his peak.
Yeah. That
you're running these hard races and that might take a bit of an edge off you.
Okay.
I think that's generally the thinking. And Mellon is a good horse, and Mellon is an improving horse. So I think the fact that yesterday Gordon had the first 3 in that bumper as well, the one Commander and Fleet one, at one stage is about 250,000 in it. Now it's back to 405,000. Today will tell a lot. That Gold Cup once again a €275,000 race. So that's a good plot line. And obviously we've had, hopefully we'll hear now from William Mullins and Paul Townend today, and just get this a line drawn under this, and we all move on, and that's all cool.
Good stuff, John. Thanks very much for that. So Felix Desgy
Yes,
is the tip for today.
that's it, folks.